It's Jeremy Warner from 24/7 Sports. Welcome to Champaign. But just wondering, how did this all go down for you? Because it felt like you kind of had the plan to keep doing the training thing, but what drew you to Illinois, and how did it kind of all go down?
Well, when initially when I wanted to stay at DePaul, I was going through the process and I had some things going on outside out of the community center. I had some things going on, where I came from, and I wanted to continue to build on that and then get my training business back up and going, and and to do some things with that. I had a few opportunities that came by, and when I got a call and when I talked to Coach Underwood, it was just an opportunity that I knew that would be a great fit for me, and an opportunity to be with a guy who's won everywhere he's been, who has a culture, and a chance for me to grow and to ultimately, be a head coach.
Brad talks a lot about your development ability, Tim. What goes into developing talent like Illinois has done, like you have done before, and like you've done with some NBA guys? Like, what's the most important part of that process?
I think one of the biggest things, I think every staff or anybody can throw guys out there and train and and put them through some drills. I think one of the biggest things that I've had success with doing is training the mind, training a process, a thought process, and having them get more confidence in doing certain things and just having an approach. That's probably one of the biggest things for me, and just being really, really detailed and just trying to create. I always tell the guys, if we were playing cards and we were playing spades and you got five cards in your hand, and what is your ace? What is your go-to? And if it's the defender, if it's shot making, if it's play making, if it's rebounding, whatever, you have to have an ace to be able to be effective. And we got to make that, something that you can do at the high level, and be able to, if push comes to shove, that's what you do when you're on the court, so.
Thanks, Tim.
Hey, Tim. Scott Ritchie from the News Gazette. Nice to meet you virtually, at least. I guess to kind of follow up with that, how do you feel like, man, you've been able to be successful on the player development side and maybe getting guys to take that mindset and turn that into getting better on the court?
I just, it all started with, and it's just the grind. The grind is not going to cheat anybody. And I think the amount of work you put in and the amount of love that you have behind it, it'll bring the success. But, having those guys like Derrick Rose, Jabari, and Anthony Davis, and, McDermott, and, just Bobby Porter, just a whole list of guys that will vouch for me and just has a relationship with me and understands the process and the work that we put in and just building, I can't, I mean, I'm trying to explain to some of the things we do, but it's just really, really repetition and just training the mind and to understand what we're trying to do. And I think that was one of the bigger things that, I was able to do when I was at DePaul, helping develop those guys and ultimately having guys that was able to go on and play at the highest level. We didn't, win as much, but we had guys that was able to play, in the NBA and, overseas and et cetera, because of the amount of work they put in and just trusting the process.
I know you've only had a couple days, to work with the players here, but what's kind of been your first impressions about the roster, maybe of the guys you're going to get a chance to work with here?
Really, 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 really talented, close group, like really, really tight knit. They get on each other, they police each other, they laugh. I haven't been in the gym with this amount of talent, and they work. They work. I was just surprised to see, the first few days. I stick around the office and trying to get my routine and stuff like that, and guys are coming back on their own, just getting shots up like the whole team. My first 2 days, and and that was just a little bit different because we was just used to calling guys to get in the gym or, hey, you free, you want to do this, but these guys come in here and they get extra lifts in, they get extra shots up, they get extra reps up, and it's just all a part of, I think, the culture that's been created here.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, I'm curious of your kind of history. You grew up in Chicago. You were at Crane. What was your view of the Illinois program back then? I know you played with Will Bynum, and he was getting recruited nationally. What was your view of the Illinois?
Right. Oh, so I was a guy that grew up watching Channel 26, going back to Keywan Garris and Corey Bradford and Frank Williams and all those Brian Cook and Matt Helmet. I mean, I just Lucas Johnson. I remember all those guys. So I'm pretty much in tune with the culture here. With Coach Collins, what they would do, Coach Hansen, Coach Sell, all those guys that was able to bring success and continue to represent the eye the right way. I mean, we didn't have cable, so it was either, where I grew up. So you have certain channels, and channel 26 was a channel that we had, and I grew up watching Keywan Garris. I wore number 22 because of him, and he's one of the guys, and also D Brown is like a little brother to me. Luther Head, we grew up together, so I've been really watching this program grow. And then when I was able to meet Brad a little while ago when he first got the job, I just, when I'm at DePaul, I'm always watching Illinois to see how those guys doing, also from a competitive standpoint, because, they're the state school, we're the city school. So, you got to kind of keep up with what's going on, but also just watching how he was able to build it here and to turn it around and get it going. But I've always, had a spot for the university. This is like a dream job for me, and like I said, watching those guys, Sergio McLean, all those guys, I know a lot of the history here. So I'm just happy to be excited. I'm excited to be a part of it.
And then you mentioned Luther. I believe at least for 1 year you coached his little brother, right? Is that correct?
Right,
You were
right.
Crandall, I think even when he committed to Illinois. So
Right.
Can you maybe explain those days and what it was like, having a player recruited here and all that kind of thing?
So, in this basketball, it's all about pretty much any job, is all about relationships. And, me and Luther kind of grew up together, and me, Will Bynum, Tony Allen, we all played on the same team. So when I was recruiting Crandall, and or when Illinois was recruiting Crandall, and then Crandall came to Crane, it was, Luther bleeds this. He's fighting the line out to, in his heart. So this is something he wanted to see, and it was just part of the process of getting him here and just doing my part and trying to help him get him better, and you know how it is. And I think Jarence was here at that time. Jarence was recruiting Crandall. So I got a chance to build a relationship with Jarence. So, it was the best fit, but it was also relationships. That's how recruiting is.
Thanks.
Hi, Coach. Alec Bussey, Orange and Blue News. Nice to meet you. You spoke a lot there about your connections to Chicago and all the different people. Having coached in that area and understanding the city the way you do, how important is it for the Illini to not only recruit players from that city, but sign players from that city?
So, and that's one of the things, and I think, and you guys know Brad, and you dealt with him a lot. He's a straightforward type of guy, and that's what I like about him. When I talked about, I don't feel like I'm just a Chicago guy. Of course, that's my heart and soul. I've been able to get stuff done, throughout the country, but it's more so the fit and what we're trying to do here and continue to build this culture. And then we got to have the guys to continue to be the keepers of the culture. So that's really, really important. Of course, we're going to recruit Chicago. That's home for me, but it has to be the right fit. It has to be the right person that's going to come in here. Whether it's Chicago, whether it's Peoria, whether it's Orlando, and of course, it's just my task maybe to recruit Chicago, but Jeff has some strong relationships throughout the state, and Chester's a bulldog. He knows everybody. So, and I think that's the approach we take anyway. We kind of all work together, and I might be the lead here, he might be the lead there, but I'm not trying to sidestep your question, but the biggest thing for us is the fit. And of course, I'm here and I'm from Chicago, and I have a lot of relationships in Chicago, but it's not just we got to get Chicago guys. It has to be the right guy that fits our culture, that can grow, and that we can continue to, help that young man maximize his stuff, his ability, and we win.
So you have connections to Mean Streets, and you've mentioned that, but there's also, the Mac Urban Fire, Illinois Wolves, so that are all based in that same kind of area. You've actually been successful landing kids from different organizations. How did you go about building those relationships and keeping those into the future, I guess?
Right. So I think one of the one of the cliches where people think like, hey, okay, he's a fire guy, and he's a Mean Streets guy, he's a Wolves guy. But of course, I'm from Mean Streets, and that's my heart and soul. I'm not ducking it. That's my program, and I support them to this day. Whatever I can do, as far as helping them and doing the things the right way, I'm with it. But I've been able to recruit Charlie Moore from Mac Urban Fire. I had Terrence Shannon committed from Mac Urban Fire. Marquise Jacobs was a Mac Urban Fire kid. So those relationships are pure relationships. And necessarily, I know families throughout the city and throughout the state. And even if I didn't know somebody directly, I had somebody who knew them that can get me in there. And the same thing with the Wolves. We have relationships throughout the D-Rose, the Demons. There's a lot of impactful AAU programs that we have real relationships that when I was on the ground, when I was a high school coach, I was building those relationships with people. And so, and of course, try to say, hey, you choose a side, but no, I'm here and I'm trying to do the best thing for these kids. And I think a lot of people understand that.
And then if I could get one more, with all of your training experience of preparing kids for the NBA, you mentioned Anthony Davis is one. Do you have a position group or area that you're more confident or more, I guess, comfortable coaching and developing talent-wise at this point in your career? Are you kind of comfortable going wherever you're needed to go?
The benefit I've had and one of the best things is that, being a trainer, you have to train bigs, wings, guards. So I'm pretty averse of dealing with, any of them. And honestly, I love working with bigs. I'm a point guard, but I also love working with point guards, wings as well. So it really doesn't matter. And then as far as the demographic with the staff, we're still figuring that part out. We all kind of rotate and figure out, day-to-day basis. We want our guys to work with each other. So I'm comfortable with any of them. It really doesn't matter to me. So I've been doing skill development for so long, I can, get it cracking with any of them.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Hey, Tim, Joey Wagner with 24/7 Sports. Brad mentioned that you guys really kind of knew each other when he took this job. I guess, when did it become clear to you that this was an opportunity for you? And did you think, like, if that ever comes open, that's something I would be interested in, and just given Illinois and given Brad?
Yeah, we did. We sat down with Brad when Brad first got the job, and he was straightforward, and I was looking at Brad like, you walking into something I don't understand. But and knowing him, and I see why he's like he is, and he's been able to have success as he's had, because this is his mindset. This is how we're doing it. This is what we're gonna do. We're not catering to this. We're not catering to that. So I kind of respected that, but I was a little thrown off. You know what I'm saying? He's really, really confident. And he has a great personality too. You think of this big guys like, but he's really a funny dude. But when he's on the court, he just turns into a whole different type of guy. And but honestly, I would be, wouldn't be truthful if I say that I haven't been eyeing an opportunity to be able to be a part of his staff. And like I said, when the opportunity came, it was just something that I would, because I was willing to take a year or two off, or probably even not even be in the game, because it's some things that I had going on in the community that I want to be in the forefront of, and to help and to curb the violence and stuff like that. So that's really near and dear to me. So if I have to sacrifice for me not being able to, be a college coach or ultimately be a head coach, that was fine. I was ready to make that sacrifice. But when the opportunity came, and a lot of people look at it like, oh, what's going on in Illinois? They lost all their coaches. I look on the other side. Hey, you have success. That's what happens. You have an opportunity to grow. You have an opportunity to get better, and you have more opportunities. That's how it goes. And that's what Brad has been able to do here. He's had some successful years, and Chin, and Gentry was able to go in what they feel like is a best situation or better situation for them. I feel like this is the best situation for me. And like I told Brad, I don't want to leave here and be an assistant. I want to leave here and be a head coach. So my next stop is not to be an assistant at Duke or Kentucky or North Carolina, nowhere. I want to be here. I want to learn as much as possible. I want to win. I want to do my part. I want to go above and beyond for these kids. And when I leave here, I don't want to be an assistant. So I want to be a head coach.
And forgive me for asking, but you mentioned some of the things in the community that matter a lot to you. Can you maybe shed some light on what those are and what you were involved with in that part of your life away from basketball?
So violence is I would kind of say it's at all-time high, but I kind of really think it's the same. But I think social media just sheds a different light on it now, and people having cell phones and being able to videotape and see things right away. The violence where I'm from is really ramping up, and I've never ever wanted to like leave the hood where I'm from. I always wanted to make the hood a better place. So for me, being integral and vocal in the community and creating job opportunities for the people in the neighborhood has been really, really, near and dear to me. And it's a lot of different things that goes into violence. People just don't wake up thinking about I'm gonna do something bad today. It's homelessness, it's jobs, it's lack of job training. It's a lot of different things that go into it, and mental health. It's so many different entities that go into it that people don't really understand. So just being able to, so I have a violence prevention program in Chicago that I was heading up, and that's really, really something that I want to continue to push forward, because you maybe not be able to change the whole structure, but if you can give people an opportunity and give them a different outlet, maybe they'll try to do right.
So one more, if I could. That obviously means a lot to you. What was the balance of weighing your passion for that, but also looking at an opportunity at a program you grew up watching? What was kind of the tipping point to say, I can either manage both, or this is the right time to get back into this coaching realm?
Just talking with my family and my wife, and just she wanted me to be a little selfish, try to and then she very rarely gets involved with that, and she told me, hey, look, that's an opportunity that I don't think you would, because for me, this is Illinois is a blue blood, and I understand. I know how the media is, I know how the fan base is, I know how the alumni, you guys expect to win. and there's no question, and it's like, and I told my wife just how Duke feel about their athletics, Illinois feel the same way. So it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's going to be hard. It's some stuff they want to do, but it's an opportunity that I feel like I couldn't pass. I don't feel like that this opportunity would have been awarded to me no other time. I feel like this was the best time and the best timing of it. And this is, just especially where the program's at with Brad and the guys here, Bello and Frazier and Big Fella, and working with Jeff and Chester and these guys, Joy Biggs, these like Fletch, like these guys are phenomenal. So now, this is an opportunity I just feel like I had to do. And then hopefully the other structures in place that we already put in place with the violence prevention piece, it'll continue to push forward. But this just being a part of the Illini Nation and at this time is something that I couldn't pass. Like, this is one of the top 10 programs in the country.
Thank you for sharing that, Tim. Nice to meet you.
Tim, I'm Rob McCauley. I provide most of the coverage for the local public radio affiliate. And so far, you seem very low key. I'd sort of like to know how your recruiting philosophy goes, how you sold yourself to Brad, if indeed you did, while you were eyeing the opportunity.
Well, recruiting is about relationships, and being an AAU coach, being a high school coach, being a trainer, working with Mean Streets, you develop a lot of relationships throughout the city, throughout the country. Being on the circuit, you develop relationships with different, organizations, from, Boo Wim to Howard Pulley to PSA to Each One Teach One to all, to different, the family. So you develop these relationships with these guys, and then and you just try to I just try to stay out the way and just try to work my relationships and continue to build in that way. But I mean, Brad knows, Brad knows. He may act like he don't know. He knows what's going on. He's going to do his research. He knows, if I can get it done or if I can't get it done. And I think, of course, I'm expected to recruit at a high level. Like, and I'm with it. Like, we're going to get that done. Like, that's having an eye behind me is way, way easier than having the DePaul, and and we had 2 top 25 recruiting classes there, a top 25 class and the top 10 recruiting class at DePaul. And it was way harder, and just, recruiting at DePaul and being the last team in the Big East for almost 15 years, dealing with NCAA, on probation, and it's like, and now you got to go out and get the best player you can possibly get. So it was really, really hard. So I think having the card stacked against you there, but coming in with momentum here is a little bit, easier. But the recruiting piece, I'm not worried about that. The player development piece, I'm not worried about that. I'm really confident. I'm humble, but I'm really confident in what I do, far as that, because that's something that I really, really work my butt off to, to continue to get better at and evolve.
He says he doesn't remember exactly when he met you. Do you remember exactly when you met him?
Who is this, Brad?
Brad Underwood?
Yeah, I met Brad when he first got the job. Because I was I was a director of Main Streets when Brad first got the job. So we met, and I wanted to get a feel from him because Brad was trying to do things the right way. He met with me, Mike Irvin, Mullins. He met with all the major guys in Chicago, and just to share his vision, to see what he's going to do, and how he wanted to move around. So I remember that, and at that point, I had no, I didn't want to get back into college. So I did the Texas Pan American thing, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be a coach again. So I wasn't even trying to be a coach at that point. I was really good doing what we were doing with Main Streets, and then I think Coach Lato started talking to me a little bit later, because I turned down a few jobs then, and I just being home and being at DePaul, and that was a great opportunity for me at that time. But I had no inclination to even get back into college when I first met Brad. It was just, hey, I'm here, what is your thoughts? I want to have a relationship with you guys. And it was kind of that thing.
Last one from me. You said your next stop is going to be a head coaching position. Do you have any dream job in that capacity?
We all do, of course, we all got, the biggest thing for me, honestly, and I don't want you guys to take it the wrong way. Of course, I want to be a head coach. I mean, that's why, most assistants do it, but I want to be in this moment, while I'm here now, and to learn as much as I can from Brad and the rest of these guys. Like, today was the first day, me being on the floor with him. He's so detailed with little bitty things that you wouldn't even think about. But I just want to learn as much as I can. I want to be in this moment. But yeah, ultimately, I do want to be a head coach. And then when those opportunities come, we'll go through those. But I just want to be here where I'm at now, and just be the best version of myself for the program that I can be.
It's an excellent answer. Thank you, Tim. Good to meet you.
All right.
Hey, Tim, good to meet you. Scott Beatty, WDWS Radio. First of all, a bit envious. You've got a great beard game going on. I mean, it's making Robert jealous. Even if things are cooking at DePaul, DePaul's kind of place, it's always going to be fighting for a piece of the media coverage in a big city like Chicago. What do you think about, moving from the city, the environment you know and love, into a place like Champaign-Urbana, but Illinois basketball, you mentioned it before. You're almost under a microscope now as an assistant coach.
Right. The biggest thing I think is just the transition, but for me it's about growing, of course, and like I tell the guys all the time, you got to get uncomfortable being you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and I haven't been out of the city in a long time, but in order for me to grow and to maximize what I'm trying to do And what we need to do, I need to get uncomfortable. I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to do things. I need to, you know, to move around and grow. So sometimes growth is uncomfortable. So I'm fine with that. But the media, yeah. I mean, I've watched you guys. I've saw some things. I don't have a big social media presence. I still only have Facebook because I had Facebook when I was back in college in 2000. So I don't even have an Instagram or none of that. But you know, by me watching, you know, certain guys commit or recruiting, you know, I've seen some of the things you guys do or say, and it's like this is huge, and I understand that. I understand, you know, with me too, fellas. A pat on the back and a kick in the butt is 6 inches apart. So we can have a great conversation about a great get, and then if we miss out on somebody, I can be the same person and say, hey Tim, why you know you didn't get that done. So I understand that, you know, there's no hard feelings here. I understand you guys got to do your job, but you know, for me, I just look at it as an opportunity to grow, because this is making me be the best version of myself, and that's all I want to do. I just want to be the best person I can be.
Could you share a bit about, I saw a line in your bio here that you began your career in law enforcement. What was that about? And you know,
So
getting back into basketball.
so right. So when I started off at my old school, Oklahoma Panhandle State, when I graduated from there. So the assistant coaching position didn't pay a lot of money. So I was the president of the university, like really, really loved me, Dr. Bryant, like, and I still talk to him to this day. And he said, Tim, you want to be a cop? So, and I was like, well, in my mind, I've always thought about it, because when I was little, you know, my mom, I just remember clear as day, I have me walking and I'll go by the police and she'll tell me, you know, hey, you better be good before the police get you. And I was like, what they gonna get me for? I ain't did nothing bad. But and I'm gonna tell you some stories that I've learned that's different from being a police and anywhere else than being a police in Chicago. So, you know, I used to always see police just run lights and just run lights. So I tried to do that at where I was in Texas County, and then I got a little ticket in my mailbox. And I'm like, what I get a ticket for? I thought we could just run the lights if we want to run the lights. Like, so the citizens gave me a ticket. So I pull up in front of the police station. I park on the wrong side of the street. I get another ticket, and I see the police do it all the time in Chicago. So, and they hurry up and show me that, hey, this is not, no, we're gonna do stuff the right way down here. So I was able to learn that really, really quickly. But you know, the law enforcement thing was for me. So when you guys continue to be around me and talk to me, like, I want to try to make a difference. Like, I never wanted people to look at the police and be scared of the police. Like, I wanted people to have a relationship with the police, because that's their job, to serve and protect. And, you know, and the way I grew up, it was policemen that was 60 years old that I knew and I talked to this day. And I wasn't scared of them because I wasn't doing anything wrong. But the perception is so bad now, and I wanted to kind of change that perception of how people look at police. Like, I didn't want to be like, oh, you see the police and you get scared. You know, like, oh, if you're not doing anything, you shouldn't be scared, you know? So that was pretty much, I tried to do that for a little bit, but my aunt raised me and she died because I was going to stay there. And then my granny was sick, and then I ended up coming back home and helping them out and you know, getting the family, you know, trying to do my part there. But I was going to do the law enforcement thing.
Well, thanks for giving us a little window into that. I appreciate those stories.
Yeah.
Hey Tim, this is Kelly Prince with the Illini guys in Quad City Times. I guess my first question is, you know, being from Chicago, what is the perception from the high school you coach there of Illinois? I mean, there's been some kids that got away and some that, but what really is the perception up there in the city as far as the state universities?
I think the university has a lot of momentum now, and some of the times, you know, it doesn't be like you would perceive it, like, hey, we might missed on a guy that everybody thought we should have took or everybody thought we should have got. But internally, we probably didn't even want the kid for real to be a part of what we were trying to do. But it just looks like, oh, we should have got him because he's a 5-star, he's a 4-star, he's the #1 player in the state. But our job is to dissect that whole process, that whole thing, what type of kid he is off the court, on the court, what type of people's around him, what is he trying to do, what's his work ethic, and and all those other things. And those other qualities might not fit what we're trying to do. But to get back into your question, and of course, you got guys like, that came from the city and they're just real proud of the U of I. So I think, Chin had a really good relationships with guys in the city. I think I have a pretty good relationship with guys in the city. I think it's all about relationships. I think it's all about relationships, putting it, with someone that you can trust, someone that that's going to do the right thing by the kids. And I think that's what it really is about. And I think it's really exciting times around Chicago right now for the U of I.
Okay, last question really quick. You mentioned Illinois being a blue blood, and
you broke. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I said you mentioned Illinois being a blue blood school. Like, the people expect to win here, and there's a lot of people here in this Zoom. When the fans hear that, you think that this is a blue blood school, or could be. I mean, what are your realistic expectations at Illinois?
Well, we expect to win. When I talk to Brad wants to win championships. He wants to win. We want to win every day. This culture is about winning, and it's about developing young men. That's what it's about. Being the best player you can be for your teammate, and to win. Like, Brad wants to win championships. He wants to win a national championship. He said every day. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to just win 10 games or win the Big Ten. We're trying to win national championships. That's how we feel here.
Thank you.
Hey, Tim, James Boyd here with the Herald and Review. I wanted to ask, what is the name of your violence prevention program, and how do you still plan to have a hand in that, or be a figure in that, although you'll be down here in Champaign?
Well, it's called the RAIN Project. And structurally, we have a hierarchy in the program, and it kind of runs itself. So, any time when you have a business or you do anything and you step away from it, you hope that it continues to flourish. A lot of times it doesn't stay at that level. But what I was told, if you have a business or a company and you can't step away from it and it does well, you never had a business or company. So I'm hoping that, it can continue to maintain and grow and continue to build. But most of the things we do now is via phone calls, like, putting fires out, getting in front of certain things. That's just a phone call. And people don't really, I think, value the understanding of the relationship aspect. Like, if someone called my phone that I have a relationship with, I'm going to answer that phone, and I'm going to get back to them in a timely fashion. Everybody doesn't get the same response all the time, but it's all built through relationships and trust.
And then the last one from me, is RAIN like an acronym?
No.
Okay, just the RAIN Project. And then also, how important is it to you? I mean, I can kind of hear it in your voice, but how important is it for you to just be that example to your community, and also to kind of show them that, everyone wants to make it to the NBA or be that star player, but you can still use basketball to make your situation better, whether it's coaching, developing, AAU, things like that.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, because for me, I was never the best athlete or, none of that. But I learned at a young age, Sonny Parker's like a father to me. He's Jabari Parker's father. And he's always told me to use basketball, don't let it use you. And I didn't understand what he was saying until I really got older. And you can use basketball to feed your family for the rest of your life. There's so many different entities in the game that you can be involved in. And for me, the community piece is to be like, you don't have to be a rapper. You don't have to be an NBA player. You don't have to be an NFL player. You can be a coach and have the same success. You can be a counselor to have the same success. I want people to see me in a community doing the right thing. So if so many times we did bad things and they saw that, and whether we know it or not, those younger guys and ladies, they look up to that. So just me being at the University of Illinois, like, Chicago is going crazy. Like, my community is going crazy right now. So for me to walk out and to see something on the ground, I pick it up because I want them to see it's cool. Oh, Coach Tim just picked the bag up, or and I've been a same person that when I was younger to be driving and eating and throw the food out the window. So no, you keep it in your car and you get your tail out and you put it in the garbage. But I want them to see that. I want them to see me picking up things off the ground. I want them to see me coming to the community. I want them to see me giving back. Like, so hopefully they can see like, oh man, it's not lame to do the right thing.